Hello, everybody. This is Gary. Today is September 20th, 2021. It's 7:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States in Rochester, New York. And this is my coping with schizophrenia log entry for today. Today, I'm doing okay, I guess. I just found out that my friend Sue has dementia. She's only 56 years old, and she's been diagnosed with dementia. I used to date her. We remained friends. She lives in Buffalo, New York. I'm kind of worried about her. She fell down a couple months ago and broke her foot, and she fell down again in the past couple of days. She may have broken her other foot. Um, she was in rehabilitation for her foot at a rehabilitation center. She's back home, and she fell down again and possibly broke her other foot. I asked her why she didn't go to the hospital to get her other foot checked out. Her nurse is coming tomorrow. She's going to wait till the nurse looks at her other foot. But she's not doing well, and that's got me kind of under a lot of stress. Worrying about her, and I care about her deeply, kind of aggravates my psychiatric symptoms. I am worried about her. I don't want anything to happen to her. She's a very nice person. She lost two of her sons to drug overdoses, narcotic opiate painkillers. She has one son left, several daughters. The one son she has left is also addicted to narcotic painkillers. So she's had a really rough life, very difficult for her over the past couple of years. I'm seeing my psychiatrist on September 30th. We're going to discuss my medications and my Klonopin usage. I'm going to ask my psychiatrist not to discontinue my Klonopin yet because I'm still under stress. Klonopin doesn't treat psychosis, it only treats anxiety. I take other medications for psychosis like Zyprexa and Seroquel. I just took my night meds. I took them early because I'm planning to go to bed early. But as far as my actual psychiatric symptoms are concerned, my anxiety is pretty heightened, but my paranoia is not that bad. My hallucinations are not that bad right now. I'm just very worried about Sue and how she's doing with her health. She's got a lot of problems going on. It's hard because she lives in Buffalo, New York. I live in Rochester, New York. We're a couple hundred miles away from each other. I haven't seen her in person in 3 or 4 years. She has I believe, a stepdaughter or a daughter-in-law that lives in Rochester, New York, and works as a nurse in one of the local hospitals here in Rochester, New York. I think she works at Highland Hospital in Rochester, New York. So she has a granddaughter that also lives in Rochester. My symptoms are pretty stable. I'm just taking it day by day, like most people are. Worried about the same things other people are worried about: inflation, Afghanistan, high prices, financial difficulties. We're all going through that. The COVID-19 thing, COVID vaccines, vaccine mandates, mask mandates. I'm worried about the same things that everybody else is worried about. In a way, the politics of today's world can aggravate a person's mental health problems. They certainly aggravate mine. When I think too much about politics, I think too much about the news, my paranoia gets worse, my hallucinations increase, my anxiety and depression get worse. I guess it's true for a lot of people. Being isolated because of COVID-19, I'm a little bit paranoid about going outside because of the Delta variant of COVID-19. I'm fully vaccinated. I've had both vaccine shots since May of this year. So I've been fully vaccinated for a while. If they have a booster shot, I'll probably get it. But I don't know if they even approved that yet. So I'm still worried, like everybody else, about a lot of different things going on in the news. People's depression, anxiety tends to get worse when they think about these things. I think about these things. All of you think about these things. We're all in the same boat, kind of. Um, we're all just trying to cope the best we can. For me, helps to cope if I get outside as much as possible. Today was a nice day in Rochester. It was about 71 degrees, sunny out. I went for a walk just to get out of the house. Sometimes it's important to get a little exercise. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous, just going for a walk, riding my bike, just trying to cope. Staying inside all day doesn't help. I mean, even with COVID-19, we all have to live our lives as normally as possible. That means getting out of the house. I'm against forced vaccinations. I'm against forced lockdowns. I'm against forced masking. All that is not helping anything. I'm not against vaccines. I got the vaccines. I'm not anti-vaxxer. I encourage everybody to get the vaccine for COVID-19. I would encourage people to get the booster shot if they are approved the booster shot. I'm totally pro-vaccine. Certainly don't cope with religion or use of religion or spiritual beliefs. I'm an atheist. I will always be an atheist. God does not exist. The gods do not exist. The supernatural does not exist. I'm against religion. I'm against a belief in God. I'm against the belief in miracles. I'm against the belief in the supernatural. I'm against New Age spiritual beliefs. I don't believe in psychics. I don't believe in astrology. I don't believe in any of that nonsense. That stuff wouldn't help me cope. It would only aggravate my delusions and my hallucinations. It would only aggravate my schizophrenia. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm an atheist and I will always be an atheist. And that actually helps me cope better with my mental health problems than believing in supernatural nonsense. Um, I don't cope by believing in fairy tales. I don't cope by believing in magic and miracles. And magic and miracles, by the way, have the same thing. They have the same dictionary definition. Um, I don't know. I hope these videos help other people. I try to make them help other people. Sometimes I'm just speaking off the cuff. I don't write a script for these videos. I don't plan out what I'm going to say. Um, I hope I'm helping other people by doing these videos. I also do these videos to help myself. It helps me get stuff out in the open and out of my system. I'm just trying to cope like everybody else. I'm no different than you. You're like me, I'm like you. Even if you don't have schizophrenia, we're all trying to cope. We all have anxiety. We all have depression. We all have isolation. Um, in one way, I'm glad I never got married or had children. That would just be a bigger aggravation. Um, one of the reasons I never got married and had children was because I know that mental illness runs in my family. My mother was mentally ill and an alcoholic. She died when I was 8. I had 9 living brothers and sisters. When my sister committed suicide with a shotgun, she was severely disturbed. She was my oldest sister out of the 10 kids in my family. She committed suicide, I believe it was in 1996. So mental illness runs in my family. And if I had children, I might have subjected them to severe mental illness. And I saw that as being completely unnecessary and unwarranted. And besides, I don't think I could take care of a child, even one child, let alone a couple of children. Um, that's not to say I haven't had very important in my life, because I have. One of my partners, Arlene, I met in 1991 when I was in college. We found out later she had HIV. She died 10 years later in 2001 on April 13th, a few months before the 9/11 attacks happened. So she died a few months before that. But she lived 10 years with AIDS. She took tons of pills every day for 10 years. And finally, the HIV virus overtook her and she died a rather horrible death, quite actually. Um, she was not a big person physically to begin with. When she died, she weighed about 80 pounds. She was completely blind. The HIV virus had attacked her eyesight. She had AIDS dementia, which had attacked her brain, and she died from severe pneumonia on April 13th, 2001. That was probably the biggest loss of my life, next to the death of my sister and my mother. That was very stressful. I lost another girlfriend who died in the 1980s from epilepsy. She had severe grand mal seizures. And now I found out the ex-girlfriend that I have right now as a friend has dementia at the age of 56. So that's putting stress on me. It reminds me of the other people that I knew in my life that were sick and passed away. So I guess that's all for now. I'm just coping, trying to do the best I can. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Press the notification bell so you'll know when I put out new videos. If you want me to do a video on a particular topic, let me know in the comments section.